Hi, I'm Michelle. I'm going to be through hiking the Appalachian Trail this year, starting in April. I wanted to share with you some books that helped me feel ready to hike the trail. This is Through Hiking the Appalachian Trail, 100 Tips, Tricks, Traps, and Facts by Chica and Sunsets. Chica and Sunsets did a through hike of the Appalachian Trail in 2017. You can watch them on their YouTube channel. They filmed their whole hike. They also recently opened a hostel in North Carolina near Franklin. This book is invaluable. It covers everything. Basically, if you read this book, you'll save yourself so much time in reading forums and watching YouTube videos. Not that those things aren't fun to do, but it just has so much information in it. It covers everything. Planning, preparation, there's gear lists. Sorry for the rustling, that's the cats fighting. Guys, shh. And yeah, so it covers everything. It's got information you need to know about resupplies, hitchhiking, going to the bathroom when you're on the trail, shuttling, just everything. It's in there. So definitely, if I could only read one book, I would say this is the book. All right, guys, you're killing me. Okay, another book that I found really useful is more of a self-help type book, and it's not specifically about the Appalachian Trail. So a few years ago, I was working in a grossly underpaid dead-end desk job, and I wasn't happy. And I was reading all kinds of memoirs people wrote about their time on the trail, and watching a lot of YouTube videos and doing a lot of daydreaming. I wanted to hike the Appalachian Trail, but I really didn't know how to get from wanting to do it to doing it. And then also I had a lot of time on my hands in terms of waiting, because I was waiting for my children to finish growing up. I felt like I couldn't go on the trail until they had all graduated from high school. And I know a lot of you are in a similar situation. There's a lot of people who reached out to me and told me that they were, waiting for their kids to get a little older, or they are caregiving for a relative right now. Also, I know that there's a lot of people who wait until they retire to do their through hike. But there is a lot you can do now to start getting ready. And when you do that, you're going to feel better because you're going to be moving towards your goal. And it just makes life more enjoyable when you're setting small goals and moving towards them. So a book that helped me with that aspect in particular is You Are a Badass: How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness and Start Living an Awesome Life by Jen Sincero. Actually, I don't recommend the book so much as I do the audiobook. You can get the audiobook at the library. It might be available also on Audible, I'm not sure. The reason I like it read by the author is she uses a lot of humor, also a lot of sarcasm, which I don't think comes across very well in print. And also there's a lot of warmth in her voice, and it's just so much better over audio. But it's not just a pep talk. It's not just something you listen to. There's a lot of exercises involved, so action steps that you'll do. And I find that this book is really helpful in understanding some of the ways that you maybe sabotage yourself, uncovering some self-limiting beliefs you may have. This book really helped me to focus on what it was I wanted to achieve and start taking steps to get it done. And it was funny that I learned when you put it out into the universe that you want to do this thing, and it could be anything. It could be starting your own business, getting a divorce, losing 100 pounds, doing a through hike of the Appalachian Trail, whatever it is. When you start taking steps to make that happen, the universe kind of meets you, and then it just starts to steamroll. So like right now, it almost feels like the universe is just pushing my obstacles out of the way. This book can help you achieve any goal. So I really would recommend it to anyone who wants to change their life. Any goal you want to meet, start a business, go on a big trip, change your career, definitely give You Are a Badass a listen. This book might be familiar to more of you. This is Appalachian Trials by Zach Davis, a psychological and emotional guide to successfully through hiking the Appalachian Trail. This book is all about embracing the suck, about not quitting on a bad day. This book, it's a real quick, easy read. I've read it twice. I'm definitely going to read it again before I start my through hike. It really addresses the mental toughness that it takes to hike the Appalachian Trail, and it's very important to spend some time working on developing mental toughness in addition to getting all your gear bought and getting physically ready. You don't want to neglect getting mentally prepared to hike the trail. Another book that I found invaluable is The Gift of Fear by Gavin DeBecker. On the back it says, "True fear is a gift. Unwarranted fear is a curse. Learn how to tell the difference." And this book is really good for that. This book changed how I answer questions about hiking solo on the Appalachian Trail. People ask me all the time about, whether I'm afraid. And usually when they're asking that, it's not so much, fearing injury or fearing animal attacks so much as it's fearing other people. And this book, The Gift of Fear, helps you to understand that while you cannot control other people's behavior, you can oftentimes predict their behavior. I took a week-long section hike of the AT in July, and one thing I kept saying was that I noticed my intuition seemed to be working overtime while I was on the trail. Well, in reading this book, I came to understand that my intuition is working all the time. It's just that for whatever reason, I was more willing to listen to it when I was out alone on the Appalachian Trail. This book has changed the way I talk about dealing with fears on the trail. I used to fall back onto statistics. I would tell someone who asked, why I wasn't afraid to solo hike the trail. I used to say, well, the chances of being a victim of a crime is much less on the trail than it is in your grocery store parking lot. And it is true that the most dangerous thing we do in regards to hiking is driving to the trailhead. If we focus too much on the statistical likelihood of something not happening, it doesn't serve us very well for in those instances when something is happening. It's all well and good to use the rational part of our brains to talk about how low the risk is out there, but we can rationalize away the real warning signs that we're getting from our brains, from our intuition, that's telling us that something is amiss. And if we do that, then we lose the opportunity to help ourselves in those situations. This book is really good at helping you understand the difference between fear, which is a survival signal sent by your brain, and anxiety. So I'm breaking in to add a little bit more about this book, The Gift of Fear. What I was trying to say is that this book helps you learn more about your intuition, how to recognize it. For example, it lists the messengers of intuition. And it's very helpful because it can help you recognize when you know more than you know. Another thing is it goes over a lot of strategies that criminals will use to keep you from recognizing survival signals. Just for example, one is charm and niceness. That's one of many. And that's not to say that people who are charming or nice are up to no good, but sometimes they are. Have you ever encountered someone and they were just really laying it on thick and you knew not to trust them? Those sort of things. I think that intuition is like a muscle, we can develop it and make it stronger, and that can be to our advantage on the trail and everywhere in life. So have you read any good books that made you feel a little better prepared to do a thru hike of the Appalachian Trail? If so, I'd like to hear about them. If you read any of the books I've recommended, I'd like to hear your thoughts on those too. So pretty.